Okay, starter removal and replacement. I'm starting here with removing the battery. It comes out in many different parts. And there's 4 screws in the bottom I'm going to have to detach, and this thing comes out. This will give us the top access, the engine starter. You can kind of see it right there. There's a piece of it, and from the bottom you can see right there, that's him. That's a bad boy. It's really held by a couple of bolts. The reason we're replacing this starter is that it's getting stuck to the flywheel. It's supposed to disengage very quickly, but this one doesn't. It gets stuck and the flywheel drives it along. You have this screeching sound for a second or two. Sometimes it's just a matter of cleaning it, but just in case it's not a matter of just cleaning it, I got a new starter here. This is what it looks like. It's just aftermarket. So this is 10 millimeters. All right, I'm gonna cut off this strap here. It's holding this big harness together because I really need to disconnect it to get access to that top screw. I'm gonna very carefully try not to cut anything. These little connectors can be a real pain in the butt to remove. What you need to do, you have to press and pull at the same time. Press and pull at the same time. And then it have a chance. There we go. There's a plastic harness underneath here. You have to remove all these wires from it, and that harness is attached actually to the starter with one of the screws that's holding it. This one simply comes off like that. One bolt is right there, and the other one should be diagonally from it. Under this plastic, yeah, there it is, I can see it. You have to sneak a wrench in there. It wasn't torqued very much. I want to say 10, 15 foot-pounds maybe, very lightly. This is the second one here. I'm gonna remove that in a second. There it is. Okay, so now we have access to this bolt. See, that's the actual bolt that's holding the starter in place. And that's a big one. It goes all the way right there. And there's one on top too. Now before I do this, I have to undo all the electrical connection from the start. I do that. This one, which is just a wrench, looks like a 1/2 inch or 13. And this one, I tried to do it by hand. It's very tough, but I found you gotta squeeze it really hard. There's no room to squeeze it with your fingers here. So I found that what worked actually. I just pressed down on this. There we go. Let's see if the bottom is also detached. Yeah, there we go. That worked. Oof, that's a doozy. All right, now we're gonna get this one done. Yeah, so this came out pretty easy. It wasn't torqued very much. There we go. See, there's a big long bolt. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that's our bottom one. Now let's get the top one out. It's an interesting gotcha here. The bottom one came out just fine, but the top one here, see, it looks like there's a thread too. It was really tough going. I thought I'm stripping the thread at some point. It looks to me it simply has to be unthreaded. So got a little ratchet wrench situation here. There. All right, there we go. That's a long ass thread, but we got it eventually. That's it. Let's see. Yeah, see, the first couple of threads were really weird. The later on was fine. So they're not stripped or anything. It's just a difficult time getting through the first couple. But the bolt is intact, so we're good. There it is. Let's see if we can get it out with one hand. And in one piece. Oh yeah, look at it. Let's take a look at that. And there it is. There's the flywheel right there. All the teeth are still there, nice and dry. All right, this is the original starter. The biggest problem with this guy is, as I mentioned before, is that this gear, it's supposed to come out, turn the wheel, and then retract back. Something is dirty inside, and that gets stuck in this retracted position, and then the flywheel drags it along at a very high speed and just makes a screeching sound, which this should escape and go right back. So this is the problem. I'm gonna see if I can somehow open and clean it inside. I don't know if that's even possible. I don't know if it's serviceable. It doesn't look like there are any bolts. There's some little screws here. This is, by the way, the original Volkswagen part number. The one I have is aftermarket, so we'll see if it fits. All right, so this one should, I think, go in the same way as the other one. Came out, wiggle him in there somehow. Just like that. I'm gonna secure it with the bolts. Okay, put a little bit of NTCs on top of this thread. Where is it? There it is. Okay, I think it's cut a couple of threads, so let's see if I can use a wrench. It's gonna take a while. It's a really long thread. I can almost feel I can do it by hand, like with fingers, but not really. So I wish I had one of those electric wrenches. Just kind of zip it in. Let's see. That's much faster. I think that anti-seize is helping make this go through that first thread. It's a long thread. It's about 2 inches of thread. So you gotta just keep going. And eventually it will go through. We're gonna have to catch the other thread on the other end. Yeah, that's going well. Okay, that's pretty good. There it is. I'm gonna thread this whole thing in, tighten it, and thus start reconnecting all. Well, I just realized I forgot to put this in. Actually, no, I didn't, because this goes on top. On this, I see. Oh, say, that's good. That's good. I didn't forget, because this actually tightens, and then that plastic thing goes on this other small thread here, just to secure the little plastic harness for the wires. Okay, so I'm good. So I end up torquing it to 45. It feels like it's tight as I can really get it without feeling that I'm going to break that bolt or something's gonna break. So 45, I'm gonna leave it at 45 torque. I'm gonna look it up later on. How close was I? All the wires are inside. This socket goes in here, just like that. And then this connects here, but in a second. First, I'm gonna try to put that nut over there, secure this plastic harness right here. I think I got it. I don't really see it. It's the negative. Clicks nicely. Okay, and then this is the positive. Yeah, this lip here is a little bit of a lot. So basically, this needs to go first, and this one second. So you don't have to fight to put this on. But anyway, I fought and I won. But if I was doing again, so also this new one came with this kind of a washer. Also looks like cheese. The old one had no washer. It just had this nice hardened nut here. So that's how I'm going to reinstall it. Just the same exact way as the old one was. Because these things, they look like they do something. The problem with them is they're gonna rust so quickly. And actually that connection needs to be very tight. That's gonna be rust. The connection is gonna be horrible, the electrical connection. And the starter may not work as well. So I don't want to put anything that may rust. I'm just gonna put this old nut from the original one. Okay, that's done right there. Now we just have to reconnect this bad boy. Need to click. That's it. Okay, so we have negative terminal here, the positive one, nicely torqued. All our screws are torqued. And by the way, I looked up the torque for the main bolts for this starter. Actually, they say 35. Now, I torqued it to 45, so I over-torqued the crap out of it, but I didn't break anything, so I guess it's all right. It's just whoever's going to be removing these bolts going to have a little hard time, although it's not that way over-torqued. So it's good and tight. I guess all we need to do is reinstall the battery tray and the rest of the battery, and we're gonna start her up. Oh, made a little mistake here. See, this needs to be, this part of the air filter package, that needs to be on top here. So I'm gonna have to undo all these screws real quick and put this under and this over. Well, noob's mistake, but now you've seen it, so you don't do it. This one first, and then the other four. That's how it's supposed to be. The air filter cover actually sits on top of it here. And then these four holes over there align much better. All right, let's start it up for the first time. Oh yeah, well, sounded very good. That's a success.